Good morning out there in real estate world. My name is Thad Torix. I'm not wild about the term, but I'm the rainmaker. I'm the team leader for a small team in our um, brokerage here in Joplin, Missouri. So I started Torix Realty Group after a lifetime of public service. I was a paramedic for a little over 20 years. I was a police officer for 10 in the middle of all that somewhere. And that's kind of what our team has as a background is public safety. My team includes former law enforcement officers, some of them current law enforcement officers. My wife was a 911 dispatcher. That doesn't make me any smarter than anyone else. It just means that we're no stranger to difficult times. We're no stranger to knowing what's important and really for me, knowing the importance of encouragement, and that's the point of all this. So, had a great team meeting, online virtual team meeting with my crew today, and as we were going through it, I just thought, this encouragement may be good for more than just our team. So that's the point. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, but if you know me, you know it's kind of hard for me to keep things short. If you want to reach me, please head over to the website. You can find my information there and shoot me a text or an email, whichever you prefer. But let's jump into it. So most of our meeting was talking about COVID-19 and the impact it's having. And here's my message to our agents. We have agents in the Joplin, Missouri region. We have agents in the Springfield, Branson, Christian County, Missouri region. So the question is, how's the market? And I think, that's the key is to make sure that you're an expert in your market because your market might be reacting a little bit differently than ours is. So this means that if you're not already, hopefully you already have this as a habit. But if you're not already doing this, please start looking at your MLS provider's hot sheet each and every day, maybe multiple times a day. The people that rely on you for real estate needs, they're going to need you to be the calm voice of reason. They're going to need you to be the one with the facts, and the way to get that is by taking a look at your hot sheet. So when I look at ours, the facts I look for are just the answers to these questions. Are we still seeing new listings? And the answer is yes. In both, so here in Joplin, there's two different MLS providers locally that really have my attention. And when I look at the hot sheets for both of those in both the last week and in the last 48 hours, I see encouragement, honestly. I see that there are new listings coming each day. I see that people are still closing on their properties. I see some price changes, and we'll be watching those closely. We'll be watching those closely. Are people canceling or withdrawing their listings? Some, but I don't see a big panicked uptick in that. So hopefully that means people are hanging on and waiting to see how it goes. Of course, I acknowledge that 48 hours or now 72 hours does not make a trend. But my point is pay attention to the data, right? There's no such thing as bad data, right? You have to know what you can do with it, and you have to be able to communicate it in a reasonable and clear way to your clients. So pay attention to your hot sheets. One of the things that came up in our team meeting is, can we still do business? And of course the answer is yes. Yes, we can. There's isolation precautions out now that if we're responsible, we're paying close attention to. If you can work from home, work from home. I see way too many people that could work from home still at the office, and that really puzzles me. If you're able to work from home, you need to be working at home. How you show a house is probably going to look different, right? Maybe you're only going to show one person at a time. Maybe you're going to ask that kiddos not come into the house because we all love kiddos, right? Or maybe we don't all love kiddos. Most of us love kiddos. But kiddos are kind of prone to touching things. And so we're going to ask them to wait outside. I think probably hand sanitizer is a part of the equation before and after the showing. I think there's some great infographics out there available. You're welcome to head over to our Facebook page and nab what we put out. I, on purpose, did not brand it. In fact, we borrowed it from someone else who gave it to us freely. So grab some of those infographics, use that, send that out to your database. closing is probably where they're most likely to have to do face-to-face, and I think we're going to see more and more title companies get on board with online notary. I hope there may be some regulatory issues there, some obstacles, and I'm really hoping that those get worked or navigated through by the people that are in that industry. But of course, we do online digital signing all the time. Um, I really love this quote that we got from Jay Papasan Monday. If you're a Keller Williams agent, then you have access to a great interview mastermind session that Jay and Gary Keller did on Monday. It's worth watching. We need to do our job. We need to help people make great decisions, and the only way we do that is with the facts and a calm mind. One of the things I heard a lot in the team meeting was, you know what, I'm really not sure what to say. And when I hear that, the first thing I go back to is your heart, and I say, well, before we talk about what to say, let's talk about what to communicate. And I think what we're trying to communicate is that we're sincere, and that yes, we want to make money. We're in the money-making business. There's no reason to be ashamed of that. But we're also in the people business, and we are truly, sincerely concerned. So we want to ask them, how's it going? I still believe strongly in the rule that says you identify that it's a business call first, and then you go and deal with any kind of personal stuff later. I think that there's probably a hybrid way to make that work in this conversation, where when the phone is answered, you say, I'm working from home. Probably they're at home unintentionally too, right? Like they weren't planning on being home last week. They didn't know that they were going to be home now. So they're actually instantly building camaraderie. I'm working from home, and yes, this is a business call, but then I quickly switch to, but before I do business, let me just identify the priority and ask you a question. And that question, and this is an important, there's a distinction here. I've had agents call people and ask, how are you? Or how's it going? And that's kind of blown up in their face. We've seen or heard leads or clients almost take insult to that and say, what do you mean? How am I? I'm horrible. Do you not watch TV? Of course, this is terrible. So I think what we meant to say, and in my experience, a better question can be to ask, how are you holding up? In the question, you acknowledge that it's rough. How are you holding up? How are things at your house holding together? If you have a lot of credibility or you have great rapport with the person you're calling, they're not a stranger to you, you could probably take that further. You could ask, do you have any special or specific reasons to be even more concerned with what's going on? And that's going to lead you to some great conversations about hopefully ways that you might be poised to help. You'll have to decide what that is. But if it makes sense that you go and grab a carton of eggs for your 90-year-old clients, then go do that. Probably don't hand them to them, right? Probably set them on their front step, and heavens knows they'll probably spray it with 409 or something before they pick it up. But the key is look for a way to help, and if you can, offer that way. But encouragement is what they're going to look for the most. So one of the things that I heard a lot from my team was, I'm worried that when I make a phone call, and then just fill in the blank, my kids are too distracting. My dogs, we have 6 dogs in my house. Don't ask me why, I don't know. We have 6 dogs in my house, and they can be really, really noisy. And so the agents are worried that there's something going on in the background of their house that's too noisy. So I just want to make a few points. First of all, worrying about things never brought a dime to you, never brought a minute to you. Stop it. Stop worrying, okay? And now I want you to understand why it's not a problem. Here's the reality. Hear me out here. You're not that important. Here's what I mean. Whenever we have something that is worrying like this, or we think looks bad on us, we worry about it more than the rest of the people around us do. If you've ever been in any kind of a dinner function or a big crowded room, and maybe you spilled something or you got something on your shirt, like human nature, right, is to just be really worried that, oh my gosh, everyone is staring at this mustard stain on my shirt or whatever. And the fact is, nobody cares. You're not that important. Maybe your buddy at the table at your table with you is giving you a hard time, but the fact is, the overwhelming majority of people, they're not too worried about it. You're focused on it. Nobody else is. Let it go. Close the door if you can. Whatever. Don't worry about the people being noisy. In fact, I'm going to bet that it actually might be a good thing. If I'm at home and I wasn't planning on being at home and I'm having to now live my life and do my work in a noisy home environment, and you call me and I hear a noisy background at your house while you're also trying to do business, what do we have immediately? Instantly, we have some rapport. It's similar at your house as it is in mine. You're worried that they're going to think that it's horrible. The fact is, they're probably going to find something similar in that. And lastly, I can be a little quick to dismiss folks that are difficult to deal with, so take this with a grain of salt. But if you're calling a lead and they're ugly to you because your kids are making noise in the background, I'm going to go out on a limb and wonder if maybe that's not the person you want to be doing business with anyways. So again, don't worry about it. It's really not a big deal. In fact, I'll go back there really quick. In our team meeting, one of our agents has a little guy, a 3-year-old, and then another agent has a young lady who is kindergarten age. And throughout the team meeting, we're doing a Zoom call, and both of the kids are, they're kind of goofing off with the camera and they're having fun with it. One little guy sticking his foot up in the camera, and the little girl was like making faces and stuff. And you know what? 2 things with that. It was not a big deal. It was not distracting. You know what it was? It was human. It was great. Kids bring joy. Stop worrying about them interfering with your day. People respond well in general to kids. If it were up to me, I would say not only can you bring your kids to these kind of things, but I'd prefer it if you did, because they remind us that we don't have to take ourselves quite so seriously all the time. All right, next question we got was, should I still call, and then fill in the blank. For us, it was FSBOs. Maybe should I still call? What if they closed on their house a week ago? What if I've dropped the ball and I haven't talked to them for 2 months or whatever? The answer is yes. Yes, you should still call them. Here's why. All the uncertainties that you are having, they are having too, especially if they're in this market as a buyer, as a seller, or as a lead for a seller. If maybe they're a FSBO. Those people have the same anxieties that you are having right now. You want to connect with a FSBO right now? Have a conversation with them and help encourage them by explaining, you know what I'm seeing is people are still buying. People are still selling. I'm not seeing a bunch of people just abandoning the real estate industry. People are still doing business, so there is some encouragement out there. There's probably, you can take that script and just keep going with it, right? In fact, maybe last month I would have told you that getting a market analysis every couple months is adequate. Maybe you want a market analysis now every couple of weeks. For all the reasons we've already talked about, we're the experts in that, so let me be a resource for you. Come from contribution. Really quick, I want to talk about how are leads responding when we call. I've already told you that when we said, how's it going? Or how are you? That has had some negative response, but that's it. I think there's a few things that you need to be ready for. I'm a big fan of Tom Ferry, real estate coach, and if you look for Tom Ferry through his free videos that he puts out, quite a while ago he put one out that said there's one question that we get asked all the time and we ruin it all the time. People ask, how's the market? And we just respond with good or whatever we say. What we need to be doing is answering that with a question, and we need to say, well, it depends. Are you talking about the market for selling a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that is a first-time home buyer ready, or are you talking about selling a multifamily quadplex? Are you talking about being in the buying side of things? Are you talking about a real estate investing side of things? the answer is different depending on what you're talking about. So when they ask how the market is, you should be responding to drill into that a little bit more, and let's find out exactly where is their interest. Um, More importantly, on these types of calls, when our agents have called this morning, one of the surprising things that we heard them say was, when I got people on the phone, leads and former clients, they were talkative. And so, of course, we're a little surprised to hear that. And I say, what would you do if I could identify for you the top 100 people in your database that were going to be talkative when you called? For an awful lot of us, we would love that. We would much rather have a talkative lead than somebody who just shuts us down at every turn. And it doesn't take much for us to, excuse me, to understand why they're talkative. Of course they're talkative. When you're stuck at home, you're stuck in isolation, that's not a comfortable place. We actually enjoy human interaction. In fact, taking away human interaction or isolation is so powerful. It's one of the ways we punish people in this country. People do not enjoy isolation. I certainly don't. It's driving me nuts being at home, but here I am. So don't be surprised when they're chatty. And you know what? Let them talk. Encourage them. I think you're going to have some COVID-19 conversations. What do you think about this? There's 1,000 different articles out there. The one theme that makes sense, I told you at the beginning of this that I'm a paramedic and a former police officer. The one thing that makes the most sense to me is this message. Guys, this is going to be okay. It is going to get better. That's true. However, it's also true that it's probably going to get worse before it does get better. How long that period of worse is and how extreme it is really depends on how good of a job and how serious we take isolation right now. I hope that's encouraging. I hope this is helpful. Please feel free to share this video. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm pretty easy to find online on Facebook. Send me a message and I'll be happy to help you. There's still business to be had. Just go out there and get it. Have a great day.